Hi guys, what's up? This is Stephanie, aka the Limitless Babe, reminding you today and every day that you are limitless. And this right here, I don't know if you guys can see, that's Janet. Hi, Mama. Okay, so um, as you may or may not know, today is my absolute first live ever. Like, I have never done a live. This is very scary. To be perfectly vulnerable and honest with you guys, this is very scary. This is very intimidating, but something that I felt really inspired, in my soul to do and to start doing. So, yes, what inspired today is well, today's topic is a friend of mine. So I was having a really great conversation with one of my clients, and actually she's been a friend of mine since kindergarten. Her name is Shana. Her married name is Shana Lorenzo. And actually, I want to give a quick shout out. Shana, by the way, is an incredible bridal makeup artist. She was featured last year in New Jersey Bride, and she specializes in all types of skin tones, types, textures, and ages. And she is just incredible. So check out her Instagram, Shana Lorenzo Beauty. But yes, I was having a conversation with her while I was doing her lashes, and I realized that, okay, there's a topic that we need to discuss because both of us in the last few years have been through really intense and difficult situations. And the reality is that those situations have not knocked us down. I mean, they may have done that temporarily, but like we're still standing, we're still here, we're still going and pushing and surviving and thriving. So the reality is that those difficult situations, that adversity is what has actually made us stronger. Really quick, I want to pause for a second, guys, because I should have said this in the beginning of the video. If you follow my Instagram, you already know that I have been suffering heavily from seasonal allergies. It's just been really bad. So I lost my voice a few days ago. If I sound a little funny, that's why. I feel like you remember Phoebe from Friends when she got sick and she thought she sounded so sexy? Like, it's kind of how I feel. I feel like I should be over here singing, like, smelly cat, smelly cat. What are they feeding you? But in any event, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew why I sound like I swallowed a frog, and it's because of my allergies. So yeah, I'm dying. My daughter's dying from them. Like it's just, I think everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people are having a really hard time this year. I don't know what's going on. But in any event, back to the topic. Strength is built through adversity. So, like I said, I was discussing this with a friend of mine, and she was telling me about her life because I hadn't seen her in maybe like 2 or 3 years. And she's been going through a lot, taking care of her grandmother, and just a lot of difficult stuff that's been on her shoulders. And I look at her, and yes, I recognize that she's been through difficult things, but I also recognize this strong, wiser, more resilient woman than the woman that I knew even a few years ago. And I just think that's incredible. And, I look in the mirror and I realize, wait a second, but that's what's happened to you too, Steph. And I think that so often we don't give ourselves those pep talks. Like we wait for other people to say these nice things to us and to encourage us and empower us. But the reality is that we have to be able to look into the mirror ourselves and say, oh, yeah, by the way, you're kicking butt. You're doing the damn thing. You are taking these difficult things that are being thrown at you left, right, and sideways, and you're turning these lemons into beautiful lemonade. You know what I mean? Like, and in the end, you're also just growing and becoming so much stronger and more resilient. So, in my personal life, particularly in the last few years, I feel like there have been many times, and like a particular situation that I'm thinking of, that, I've had not just circumstances, but even like people, like a direct person, try to tear me down. And I remember, as I met this person, Initially, I thought they were wonderful, right? Like, I mean, usually when we first meet people and we're drawn to them, we see something in them that maybe reminds them of us, reminds us of them. I'm saying that wrong. Reminds them of, I'm still saying it wrong. Reminds us of ourselves in them. Like we see that mirror, we see um, something that we admire. You know what I mean? Like there's always something beautiful about someone when we first feel attracted to them. And then little by little, as they start to show their true colors, you start to realize, oh, wait a minute, like this is who you really are. And sometimes it's great. And sometimes it's not so great. And sometimes it's downright toxic. And sometimes it's really just abusive. So I had one of those situations where, this person seemed wonderful. And then over time, as I started to really pay attention and really peel back the layers and open my eyes and not be blinded by the show, not be blinded by, all the fanfare. I started to say, like what's going on? And I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew something was wrong. I knew something was off. And what I really think is interesting in retrospect is that without having the knowledge that I have now, at that time, I go to church every week, right? And I mean, again, if you're not religious, if you don't go to church, there's no judgment whatsoever. Everybody praises, everybody worships, everybody believes in their own ways, everybody believes in their own higher power or in no higher power. I mean, I honor wherever you are. I'm just sharing my experience. So I do go to church every week. And once I started seeing the truth about this person, but didn't fully know what I was dealing with, I noticed that every week I would pray, dear God, give me the strength to deal with this person. And my prayers got more intense as you would say, like the fire picked up, right? Like they would turn on the heat with their behavior and like my prayers would get more intense. And I realized though that at that time I was saying, dear God, give me strength. But what I really was praying for and wishing for is, dear God, take it away. Dear God, remove this difficulty, remove this adversity. But that's not how God works because He listens. When we speak, He listens. We might not like the answer and we might not like the solution, but He's listening. So if I'm going to pray for strength, God's going to sit there and say, oh, well, I mean, if you want strength, I'll give you strength. Excuse me. But strength does not come when things are rosy. Think about it. If everything is going your way, yes, you feel good. You feel peaceful. You feel content with life. But are you really strong? Is that current circumstance preparing you for when all hell breaks loose and, pardon my language, shit hits the fan? No. So is it really making you strong or is it just making you complacent? And I think that that's what we need to acknowledge is that if we truly desire to be strong, then we're going to have to break a few eggs. We're going to have to deal with a few things that we don't want to deal with. It's like, for example, going to the gym, or not even with them, just saying every day, sitting on your couch, I really want to be in shape. I really want to be muscular. I really want to have abs of steel. But I'm just going to sit here and, you'll take care of that, right, God? You got me? No, it's not how it works. Yes, God can help. God can hear your prayer and say, okay, if you put in the work, then I can help you achieve your goal. But you got to put in the work. Nothing comes to us by just sitting around hoping and praying and wishing. Particularly if we're praying for something like strength. Strength requires work, and beyond work, strength requires adversity. I don't care who you are, if you haven't been through a challenging circumstance and overcome, you can't sit here and tell me that you're a strong person, because you don't know. I don't know. You don't know. You may be that person that just happens to know how to deal with tough situations. But most of the time, if you've never been through something difficult and overcome it, you haven't built that muscle. Our strength is a muscle, just like everything else in our life. Our emotional fitness is a muscle. Our patience is a muscle. Like all of these things that, we have to learn and develop and understand. These are muscles in our body, metaphorical muscles, but muscles nonetheless. So going back to my story, I would pray every Sunday, dear God, give me the strength. And things didn't get easier. Instead, things got harder. Things got really hard. And I remember at one point, it got to the point of being difficult and being involved in a legal situation. And I just remember being tired, like emotionally, physically, just tired and overwhelmed and thinking, okay, like, I can't do this. Like, I just can't do this. And I remember wishing and praying that someone would rescue me. Like, please, like, attorney number one, come in and save me. Attorney number two, come in and save me. Like, whoever it is, anybody, a friend, whoever, like, somebody just take this load off my shoulders because I can't take it. And I remember physically and literally saying those words, like, I can't do this. And I feel like at that time, I was crawling out. I felt like I was crawling out of a hole. Like imagine being like dumped in a hole and you're trying to crawl your way out of it. And every time you're just at the peak, when you're about to put your hand on top and pull yourself up, somebody comes and throws 10 more sandbags on you. And that's how I was feeling in that point. I just felt like defeated and disempowered and just a little hopeless and definitely not strong. I did not feel strong. I did not feel resilient. I felt the opposite of all that. But God heard my prayer and God knew what I needed. And He knew that this was the only way to give me what I asked for. So I went through that situation. And not only did I go through it, I went through it alone. I went through it with no attorney. I went through it by myself. I went through it, having to speak for myself when I felt with every fiber of my being that my voice had been ripped apart from me. And also at that time, I was suffering through severe CPTSD, which, if you don't know what that means complex post-traumatic stress disorder from dealing with this person. So I was in just a very difficult place emotionally and mentally. And God knew that you not only have to go through this fire, you have to go through this fire alone, because that's the only way that your muscles are going to start getting stronger and you're going to start seeing and reaping the benefits of what you've prayed for. And I got to tell you guys, like in retrospect, that was a while ago. And little by little, day after day, I continue to see myself growing into this person that, like, I just can't believe what she's capable of in the best way. And I can't believe how resilient she's becoming. And I can't believe, like, how non-reactive she is. Because, full transparency, and I talked about this in my domestic violence video, when I was younger, I was a hothead. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I did not like being disrespected. And I mean, who does? But like, I would just like let it go, like verbally, just let it go. And it's just so interesting to see how, like, growth happens when you not only pray on something, but you do the work. And like I recognized that at that time when I was praying and feeling like I can't do this, a little piece of me knew, babe, whether you can or can't, you have to do this. You have to do this for you. You have to do this for the people that rely on you. You have to do this. And I'm really grateful that I did, because like I just shared with you guys, I mean, I see a different person when I look in the mirror, and I'm proud of her. And now when, that person or even new people or anyone else tries to like come at me with nonsense and chaos, it's like, okay, like I got this. And little by little and day by day, it gets easier and it gets better. And it almost becomes laughable, because it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you're not even on my level anymore. And not in a disrespectful way, but in like a very literal way. Like, you're just not on my emotional and mental level. So I can't pull myself down. Oh, hey, Jason. Guys, Jason, first class, second place podcast. If you don't already subscribe, please subscribe, because he's amazing. But hi, boo. Um, yeah, back to the topic. Yeah, like it gets to the point where when you keep pushing through, even when you don't think you can, even when you feel like if you keep going, you're not going to make it, you're going to crumble. Keep going. I promise you that eventually you're going to get to that level where you look at situations and circumstances differently, and things feel differently, and you react and respond differently. And that is where the true strength comes from. So that's topic number 1, right? Now, topic number 2 somewhat ties into that. But what topic number 2 stems from today is my daughter's birthday. So Grayson Emmanuel is 2 years old today, and I am just like, so happy and excited, but I'm also a little heartbroken because she's not with me. So this year, her father has her. I actually get her back, I'm looking at the clock, in a little less than an hour, so I can't wait. She comes back home at 8 p.m. and like, oh, it can't come soon enough, because all I really want to do is hold her in my arms and tell her happy birthday. um, But so where I'm going with this is another part of building your strength and overcoming adversity is non-attachment. So this goes particularly for the single parents, right? If you're a single parent and you share custody or parenting time with an ex, then I'm sure that those holidays and special days when you don't have your child can feel awful. So instead of being able to sit here and celebrate whatever that day is, be it Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, their birthday, instead of feeling celebratory, you end up oftentimes feeling down, depressed, sad. And it's not great. And it's something that you can then in turn pass on to your children, right? And then they become attached to, well, this didn't work out this way, so I am going to just assume that life is terrible. No. Okay. We need to break the mold. We need to change the narrative on this. So, how do we do that? We need, as the parents, to learn and adopt the practice of non attachment. And what does that mean? Non attachment means that I am not attached to an outcome. I am not attached to what I thought life would look like. I'm not attached to needing to celebrate holidays and special days on a specific calendar day. Instead, what I adopt and what I'm teaching my daughter is that we're not attached. We can choose how we live our life, how we celebrate, how we make things special. And it has nothing to do with what the calendar dictates. What it has to do with is our sentiment and our feelings in here. So, for example, I celebrated my daughter's birthday this weekend. So this past weekend was my birthday and it was her birthday. So we had a party for her and we had family and friends and we celebrated. And that was like phase one of the celebration. And that made it very special. And now, like I said, she comes home tonight. Tonight, I have every intention. Her aunt, sorry, not her aunt, her, my cousin, her godmother is actually sending over some cupcakes for us. And as soon as Gracie gets home, we're going to sing happy birthday. And then she's going to go to bed. But like already, we're already making our time special, our time quality. This weekend, I have a few nice things planned with her. So, like it's just realizing that no one, nothing, no date can affect the quality of your life. So, for example, another example, like Thanksgiving, if you don't have your kid on Thanksgiving, I understand. That's painful. That hurts. But what if every other year, whatever your court ordered schedule is, you and your family celebrate Thanksgiving on Wednesday or Friday or even the following Wednesday? Like you decide that, okay, we still get to celebrate and enjoy, but it's on our terms. It's not what society or, like I said, the calendar dictates. It's on our terms. And we teach that to our children so that they can find joy no matter what the circumstances. And again, your children are looking at you as their greatest role model. So if you can achieve this place of peace and joy and non attachment, they're naturally going to adopt it. And their life is going to be improved as a result of a simple choice and step that you took. So that's big. And another part of that, a second part of that, this really doesn't have much to do with your children. This has to do with you. Do something on those days that you don't have your child. Do something for yourself. Okay? Do something to celebrate yourself. So, for example, on the holidays that I don't have her, I am very fortunate to have really great family and friends. I have friends that have become closer than some people's families are. And so a lot of times, like my friends will invite me over and say, hey, like, I know you don't have the baby today. Please come over. You're part of our family today. And so I still get to celebrate and enjoy. Or for example, today is Gracie's birthday. And I made sure that even though I don't have her today, I enjoyed a very nice dinner and I prepared it with love and I set the mood and the tone. And like I made sure that I took care of me and I celebrated for me because, oh, guys, I mean, the dads out there may or may not understand this. I can't speak for a father because I'm not one. I'm a mother. But the bond between a mother and a child, especially on their birthday, it's a big deal. I mean, you're talking about a human being that you not only brought into this world, but that you grew inside you. You shared a body for 9 months. You shared everything. You're very connected to that child. And I understand that it's very intense and it's hard to not be with them. But who says that you don't get to celebrate? Because your child's birthday, newsflash, if you didn't know, your child's birthday, yes, it's the day that they were birthed. But who birthed them? It was you. So it's your birth day. So even if they're not with you, celebrate that. Enjoy that. Give yourself, if you have the time and the funds, go have a spa day. Go pamper yourself. Go treat yourself. Do something good for you because this is just as much an important day for you. And then when you have your children back in your arms, guess what? Then it's all about them. But give yourself that opportunity to celebrate the amazing thing that you did for them by bringing them into this world. And if you're a father and you don't have the child, I understand it's different. It's different. So again, I can't speak to the dads. But what I can say is I don't see how the advice really would change. Do something for you on that day. If you don't have your kids, do something for you. And when you do have them, make it all about them. But you get to choose when and how you celebrate and when and how you find joy. And you get to be that role model that sets the tone for your children and for future generations that says, listen, we don't live in attachment. We're not prisoners to this idea. We get to decide for ourselves that we choose to be happy. We get to be happy, and we're going to live in that space of happy. We're going to live in that space of resiliency that, yes, and I don't mean to spiritually bypass. Listen, if it hurts, it hurts. If you need to cry, you cry. But cry and then take yourself out for a drink. Take yourself out for a massage. Take yourself out for whatever it is that you need to feel joy. Whatever you need. And so I think, like I said, I don't know if you guys are recognizing that what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, how these two topics go together, but I think they do. I think that finding your strength and building that muscle partially includes being non-attached, because the less attached you are to things, the easier it is to find strength in difficult situations. Oh, thanks. I love it. Gems on gems on gems. Yes. So, I don't really have much more for you guys today, but thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being with me on my first live. This was very scary. This was very intimidating, but also very empowering. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And I will see you guys soon. All right. Have a great one.